see a video using these sprites. Nice. So, I'm socially awkward. I'm not the most socially conscious person in the world. I'm immensely clueless about a lot of things, and I don't understand social situations about 95% of the time. So I figured, why not spend some time roasting myself about making people question my observation skills and my sanity? These first instances came from work. I work at a restaurant for clarity's sake. One time, we had this really mean customer that had my boss trying to appease her, even giving her dessert, which she rejected and her husband took it. As these two were leaving, I was at the front of the house, and when I saw you were leaving, I began the whole "thank you for coming" routine. My boss had seen me about ready to talk to this woman and tried signaling me to just keep quiet. I did not catch the signal, so when I said "thanks for coming," I was hit with "we're never coming me back." Oh, I'm sorry. It caught me off guard so much that because I didn't see the full extent of how this woman acted, I only got glimpses. Later on, I was telling my coworkers and my boss about it, and my my boss was like, "Yeah, I was trying to signal you to not talk to her, so you didn't have to get confronted like that." This next story happened more recently. I was talking to two other hosts, and the subject of our height came up. Now I'm a short 5'2", and there was a male host who was taller than me, and the other host was a girl who was shorter than me. She specified she was 4'11". I had called us shorties because we were both giving the guy random crap for something. It was a joke of like, "Don't mess with short people." Then I spiraled into discussing the girl's height, and I got closer and compared our heights. She stormed off and was a little annoyed at me. I apologized multiple times when I realized I screwed up. She eventually said it was fine and that she wasn't really mad, but I still felt really bad. There's probably more stories than that, but those are the two off the top of my head. I'm pretty open about who I am when I get comfortable around people, at least, to the point that my coworkers are a little bit intimidated by me. When I first meet people, I'm pretty quiet, so I think it catches them off guard when I'm suddenly this energetic, talkative person. I go to a park near my house every day, and sometimes I end up in awkward situations. Like this one time, I'm with a mom group. It mistook me as being with them and asked where my mom was. There was also this instance of like I ended up in a conversation I did not want to be in with this kid who I think was in like middle school, and it ended with her telling me she has blood kink. I got away as soon as I could. I also look younger than I and sound younger than I am. So I end up in situations where people ask me where my parents are. Like back in my freshman year of high school, I was on a club trip, and one morning I was heading down to the breakfast room in the hotel and getting some breakfast and some coffee. Now, this hotel had a policy listed on the door that said children under 12 are to be supervised by a parent in this room because there were hot waffle irons in there. So when an employee of the hotel spotted me, she started questioning me. "Where are your parents?" "At home, I'm on a club trip." "Okay, where's your teacher?" "In his room." "I'm the first one up." "Are you okay to be in here?" "Ma'am, I'm in high school." "Oh, I'm sorry about that. You have a baby face." Even after I clarified my age, she kept a close eye on me and treated me like a little kid. Honestly, my lack of social awareness made English class a little bit difficult, making research papers and understanding the subtext of books we read. which kind of sucks because I love creative writing. I do it for fun. I have a whole Google Doc dedicated to Mage's journey lore. I have ADHD, so that could explain why I struggle with social cues. Honestly, it probably explains it mainly. But I also didn't have a whole lot of friends growing up, so that also might be a contribution because I don't know how people act. My dad says I'm very empathetic, though. That I cry whenever I learn someone else is suffering, which I can say is accurate. Despite this, I have a tendency to say the wrong thing at the wrong time. I can't read a room very well. Luckily, my family and friends understand that, and that I don't really mean any harm. Especially my family, since they also have ADHD. But boy, do I make them face palm sometimes. I have a stutter, so that definitely doesn't help with the awkwardness and when I stumble on a word. I had to keep my stutter in check whenever I record my audio, which I have not been doing a good job of right now. I also admittedly get a bit sassy with others, especially when I'm sleep deprived or just exhausted. Catches everyone off guard whenever I just roast someone randomly. I have a tendency to talk really loud, really fast whenever I get excited, so I have to repeat myself or people have to tell me to keep down. Oh, but don't think I'm the only awkward one in my family. We're all awkward. My dad is an awkward guy by his own right. There are times when he is just quiet because he doesn't know what to say. My sisters are all different flavors of awkward. I'm not talking to someone and when they pass by, or just vibing on their phone when hanging out with friends. I have a tendency to jump topics a lot. Like, I'll be sitting or standing by someone and just randomly start a conversation about a random thing I thought of. Sometimes I've intercepted conversations with a question that relates to the topic, and people look at me weird, like, "What the heck are you doing? Why are you asking us this?" Whenever I'm hanging out with my friends in a public area, I have a hard time talking, mainly because I don't know what to talk about, so I just stand in silence listening to them. I would say I'm at my most awkward when I'm in a crowded area, because my anxiety shoots up in the air when I'm in a crowd. I go quiet, my face gets this deadpan look, my stutter gets way worse when I'm nervous. This also happens when I'm in a confrontation. I'm working on being more observant in social situations, and I like to think I'm getting better, but it really doesn't feel like it sometimes. I get really nervous whenever my friends come over because I try my best to clean, but it feels like I haven't done enough, but at the same time I don't know what else to do. So I end up in a ball of nerves. I also DM for these friends, so like one slight miscalculation of the dice or an encounter goes differently. It just gets awkward because I have to think of something on the spot to counteract the chaos. It's chaos. It's madness. I almost said chaos twice. Phone calls are a nightmare for me. Not because of any communication issues, I just sort of freeze up because I'm an anxious little being. So booking appointments is difficult. There's probably tons more examples of me just embarrassing myself, but that's all I'm gonna cover. Bye everyone.